This video talks about the platform that is vCalc and what you can do and how you can use it to build your own suite of calculators. First, let me be clear about one thing. What you find at vCalc.com is not the vCalc platform, but it is the product of what you could build if you did use the vCalc platform. So we'll actually start there. If you go to the vCalc.com main page, what you'll quickly see through the trending is that math is in everything. So the kind of things that you can build, the kind of calculators you can build can cover a variety of topics. So let's talk about a few specific ones. Here's a simple calculator that was built that computes the ingredients for a taco bar. So in this case, you could put in 14 guests, and it basically provides the list of ingredients. This brings us to one of our first features that is inherent in the vCalc platform. We build, in addition to the calculator, the ability to share things like the results. So in this case, you can click the share results, enter in an email, type in some notes, and basically send the results of this calculations with your inputs and outputs. It's a great way to share with a loved one the ingredients you need for the upcoming taco celebration you're going to have. Another example is in academia, where we have complete textbooks with tables of contents, but every chapter is represented by its own web page, and every equation in it is bundled together into a calculator. We can click on the button there, or when you see the equation down in the body, you can click on the equation, and again, that equation appears in a really terrific and powerful calculator that handles all the units appropriately. And again, very, very powerful to bundle the mathematical assistance with the topic. Again, this is just one chapter in a physics textbook. We have over 15,000 pages like that with calculator information embedded into it. One of our biggest categories that is not in academia is under construction. And this shows another one of our very powerful features, and it's the ability to bundle multiple calculators into one page. So this is, quite frankly, three groupings of calculator functions, one set for building the very bottom of a building, the footers, the foundations, the brick and block, etc. Then we have a suite of calculators associated with the framing from the floor joist to the studs to the wallboard, and then a handful of calculations for things like roofing, including the sheathing that goes underneath it, shingles, etc. So it's really powerful in that you can bundle these, and again, if you click on the button, it brings up that calculation. So you can kind of give a cookbook of how to go about things and provide the calculator step by step through that. Another powerful feature that's in the platform are tags. And you can enter in and create tags that would go to any given calculator. And what that lets you do is group functions together. So here's the roofing tag. And basically every equation in vCalc, every calculator that has anything to do with roofing goes to this one tag. Now, we methodically built this, we created these images, etc., and put them in here. But what it does is it speaks to the content to follow. So we have clusters of calculators, but then single function calculators, everything for pitch, angle, etc. But what it lets us do is, again, provide the navigation for people that are working through a topic to group information together. So let's pick one of them. Let's click the shingles for a roof calculator, and that'll talk about another powerful feature that we have. This calculator, again, it's mathematically correct. It's pretty simple mathematics, to be honest with you. If you know a little bit about geometry, it's easy to calculate the surface area of a roof based upon a little bit of information. And in this case, you put in the ridge length, so we'll say 24 feet. Span of the roof, we'll make that 18 feet. And then we could pick multiple pitches, but let's go with 812. And it spits out, in this case, the surface area of the roof, the number of bundles of shingles based upon how big are bundles, and very standard, your typical bundle that you could buy at a do-it-yourself store or lumber yard are typically 33 1/3 square feet. This tells you how many of those bundles of shingles that you would need, but it also talks about a related product. In this case, when you're working on a roof, you need to also put in shingles, but you need roofing nails. And this puts in the expertise associated with that, where basically says under normal wind conditions, you need a roofing nail 4 per shingle, and then under high wind, engineers recommend 6 per shingle with the different spacing. And this calculator computes not only the surface area, the number of bundle shingles, but also the roofing nails for normal conditions and wind conditions. So again, if you're using the platform for your product, if there is a logical upsell product that goes with it, this is a great way to do it. Another great feature that we have is, we do not only live in a world with one language. So in this case, we have a calculator, and we have many examples of this, but we have a calculator where the sponsoring customer, in this case, a tool manufacturer, realized that the demographics that use it are both English speaking and Spanish speaking. So we have the ability to handle multiple languages. This one has two, but it could have many, many more. So at a click of a button, it turns into the Spanish version. We had a professionally paid translator go through, in this case, and create the Spanish version of it. So again, multi-language support is something that we also provide. And then we also have some nice features that go into the platform. And I'll show you an example here. This is a very simple calculator that computes the ramp angle that an RV can back up to. But what I wanted to point out here is at the bottom, you can see the statistics on how many of uses there are, how many views of the calculator, and how many solves of your calculator. You can see we're at the beginning of the month. This will climb through the end of the month and be up here. But again, very powerful tools. So now these are things that everybody gets to see. Let's start going in now to what the platform really provides. So again, we talked about some of them, but if you'll notice, I'm actually logged in. I'm Kurt Heckman. I'm one of the founders of vCalc. And anybody can create an account. And when you create an account, then all of a sudden you have the ability to use the platform within vCalc.com. Now, you can also use this platform within your own website. We'll talk a little bit more about that momentarily. But anybody can come to vCalc.com and use the platform to add content here. And again, this is also a pretty terrific way to put it into your website. And let me show you exactly how. Let's go back to English. One of the neat features we provide for everything is share. If you click on share, it gives you basically the ability to share a calculator on social media. So if you've created a new calculator for a product or service of your business, you can post it on Facebook, etc. You can download the QR code. So that basically will give you the image that you can put on your own flyers and mailing items, that when you send it out, people can scan that on their smartphone and basically go to the calculator. And then last but not least, you can also embed it. We automatically generate the internet code that would basically take this calculator and put it in a frame on your website. So again, you have this full power of vCalc in your own website. And again, it wouldn't even look like you're part of vCalc. You would be, again, running this within your own website. Okay, so let's go through some of the other features. Inside the platform, we have the ability to watch a calculator. That basically says if anyone makes a change to this particular calculator, I can be notified it. We can add it to a collection. That kind of goes back to what was done here, where this collection had a bunch of different features. You can duplicate, which is a great way to create a new calculator. If you've got a product that is just slightly different to another one, you can duplicate in the existing calculator, move from there. Delete's kind of obvious, but edit is where we really get into the real power of the vCalc platform. But before we go there, and we'll go there in just a moment, I want to point out one last thing. Notice this vCalc reviewed. We'll come back to that here in just a minute. If you click on the edit feature, basically, it brings you into the main body of the platform creation tool for a single function calculator. So, and this is a place where you can give your calculator a name. You can provide tags for whether it's going to have multiple languages, add languages. You can make it visible to the public or not. Initially, it's not until you've developed it, but when you're ready, you can make it available to the public. If you want to put in a complex math algorithm display here, you can do that. You can down here build the wiki pages that provides the information and cross links that you want to provide to your customers how to use the calculator, with a tremendous number of features, including the ability to put in pop-up calculators and pop-up solvers. You can also go in and provide additional URLs. This is a very strong feature for search engine optimization. The algorithm tab is really where the real power starts to show up. And this is where you can build automatic user interface when we walk you through a video on how to do that, but then also provide the code of the calculator. It could simply be a one line simple equation, or like in this case, a fairly complex algorithm. And for each input, we provide the ability in the automatically generated graphic user interface, the ability to give it labels and instructions. There's a bunch of different data types for each input, everything from decimals, integers, strings, vectors, etc., matrices. And for most of the classes, you can also apply units. Now, units is one of vCalc's absolute hallmark, powerful features that we really love. We have over 600 units within over 60 categories. Everything, the categories go from length to power to areas to angular relationships, monetary items, volumes, etc. So again, units are something that a lot of people struggle with. And by providing the automatic mechanisms, one, we're helping you create the right calculators, but you will be helping your customers use units smartly and do that math for them. So this is, again, really powerful feature. The other thing that we let you do is specify if there's a limited set of values for a specific parameter, in this case rebar, and it's metal reinforcement bar. There's only standard sizes that they give it, and then you put that list here. You can have a default. The defaults can be hard-coded, or it could be dynamic, like the current pricing of, we can put in a link to something that gives the current pricing of an item. So again, tons of features here that we can go on, quite frankly, for hours, if not days, discussing the power in here. You can search other items in the vCalc database and basically drag those in, do queries, and as soon as you put it in, it basically adds that function. So again, the power here is really, really tremendous. Go to our help section, it goes in detail about this. Okay, moving on. Plotting, if your calculator benefits from having graphs and plotting in it, that you can add that here. Test is something that's very, very important, particularly if you have a product or service. This lets you create a whole bunch of different test cases for different use cases of your product or of this calculator. And it's really, really powerful. We insist that the test cases that are in here all run and run successfully. So that makes quality improved, but also it's a very, very good tool as you're developing it to have the different criteria tested out. Permissions is where you and your whole team can have permissions to work together and collaborate. And then last but not least, if you recall, I talked about that little chevron that said vCalc approved. Curate is where you can create a governing body that walks through and verifies at different levels a calculator. And in that way that you can put your stamp of approval that what has been built has been at least reviewed, and you come up with your own terms, what's been reviewed and approved. So if we close on out of that, this one has been reviewed and approved by vCalc as being accurate to the best of our ability. And again, it has that vCalc reviewed chevron. Okay, so in addition to that, and we have a similar type edit capability for all the different classes of objects, whether it's a cluster of calculators, whether it's a data table, whether it's a hard-coded constant. We provide that and all the tools to interconnect it. In addition to that, we have some very powerful administrative tools. We have the ability to have analytics. So you can specify the date range, and it goes through and says who's used what calculators and when, with a lot of different summary and details. If we go back, then we also have activity streams that will show, who on your team is developing what calculators and when, what's under development. We also have broad capabilities for communications, newsletters, but we also have the ability to designate what advertisements are on each of the pages and what they're linked to. We also have, let's see what else, the ability to create new unit relationships, and then also to manage categories and tags. And of course, we have things like help, etc. So we have a tremendous amount of features, including communications to our clients. So if you notice, all the pages have not finding what you're looking for. Someone can click on that and provide feedback to us, again, in the platform, and it would automatically be entered into our queue where we can see the backlog. And again, in this case, you can see the different items that have recently been added where people have made a request for a new calculator. So again, really, really powerful administration tools. Again, that's all on the surface. One of the most powerful things about vCalc is what's done under the covers. First off, To create content, you have to log into vCalc. You need an account, and it's free. But to use any of the calculators, you do not need to log in. We gather no PII, personally identified information, on anybody. Nonetheless, every calculation is stored, including information through a reverse IP lookup on where the user was. And with the calculator inputs from the user, the solutions that we provide, and the reverse IP lookup, we basically have tremendous data that can be used to do analysis about what your customers are doing, you know, down to maybe the local level, and also provide trends, et cetera, and just really, really tremendous data analytical tools. Okay, so what I hope you're seeing is that the vCalc platform really is a terrific platform to build. And again, we demonstrated by showing you what we built here at vCalc.com, but you can use this self-same platform to create your own suite of calculators within your own system. Thank you very much for your time.